The thing that makes me most angry is how avoidable this was.
Toronto's 72nd homicide, a senseless act of violence that claimed the life of Julie Berman, a trans woman here in Toronto. Friends believed she was killed because of who she was, described as someone who had to be an activist because she had no other choice.
Julie was in a vulnerable position and made more vulnerable by society. And eventually it killed her, as well as, of course, the man that murdered her.
Julie was found with head injuries inside a residence in the Brunswick Avenue and Harbord Street area on Sunday. The 51-year-old later died in hospital. 29-year-old Colin Harnick was arrested for her death. Police are still investigating the homicide, saying they're still trying to establish a motive, adding that the two met earlier in the day.
It doesn't appear that there was any sort of relationship outside of that particular day, and they did spend some time together that day.
Is this investigation considered a hate crime?
Right. So, I mean, these are all things that we would consider. I do not have any information to suggest that Ms. Berman was targeted or that this is any sort of hate crime.
According to Toronto police, last year, 11% of the 137 reported hate crimes were experienced by members of the LGBTQ communities, with 13 incidents reported in 2018. Of those, 2 targeted trans women.
Trans women are second-class citizens in the great and beautiful city of Toronto.
However, Nikki Ward, a community advocate and close friend of Julie, says the data we have is inaccurate and isn't reflective of the realities lived by trans women, saying the numbers are much higher.
Violence against women, and violence against trans women in particular, is on the rise. It is preventable.
As tributes pour in, Nikki and others paint a picture of who Julie was, her fierce personality, but also her struggles in a society where she was forced to be an advocate in order to survive.
Julie was gifted, creative in her own way, didn't have even a fair shot, an equal shot at those opportunities. And when she needed help around housing and health issues, physical and mental health issues, it just wasn't there. So, yeah, she was a survivor until she wasn't.
When it comes to finding a solution to address these vulnerabilities, Nikki says the voices of trans women need to be heard.
There aren't enough leadership positions being held by trans women. We are called to the table at the end of the day after the problem has occurred. We are then patronized, literally, by it, and then set to one side until the next murder happens.
Inside Barbara Hall Park, a trans memorial with the names of the victims who died of violent death. It's been most recently targeted by vandals, but you can see the trans symbol right there. Nikki Ward tells me the hope is to have this cleaned up so they could add Julie's name to this memorial. In Toronto's Church and Wellesley community, I'm Faiza Amin for City News.